And welcome back into Open Line. I'm Chuck Long. Glad that you are here with us. If you are just surfing through and you stop right there, because this is the place where you can actually ask those legal questions and get great advice from one of the top lawyers in the state of Tennessee. We're talking about Kevin Kennedy from the Kennedy Law Firm. Kevin, you're helping so many people. Broad range of questions this evening. I tell you, we really appreciate all those questions.
Chuck, I always have to say this, even while we're discussing this, ideas are coming in out of my mind on people I can. So their questions are actually helping me to create responses, even in court cases. It helps me lead meetings and teach others. So here's the Kevin Kennedy trick. If I have a problem, just talk about it. You're working your mind, ideas, you work the creative side of your mind, and it will help you come up with possible solutions. I didn't say they'll all work, but let's get the ideas on the table. We'll find a way.
Absolutely.
When there's a will, there's a way.
There certainly is. And a lot of our questions, we've had questions about the internet, we've had questions about COVID, we've had so many questions about estates, things like that. So I tell you, lots of great questions, lots of broad questions that help everybody that's out listening. We're going to go right back to our lines right now. Perline is on the line with us. Perline, love that name. And do you have a question or a comment for Kevin?
I have a question. I leased a car. I had never leased a car before, and I paid almost $10,000 on the car. But my question is, during the pandemic, I had to return the car because I was not working, and I fell behind too many months. So I called them and I asked them to come and pick up the car. Now, the amount that they're saying I owe is more than the amount that I actually owe, but they're telling me that I need to, they are also charging me the amount as if after I paid the lease off, there was an amount about $4,000 that I would have to pay if I wanted to keep the car. So I was wondering, am I liable for the almost $4,000 that I would have to pay on the car if I had paid off the lease and kept the car?
Yes, great question. There's thousands of people in the middle of this. They're going to have cars right now. They lose their job. They can't make the payments, whether it's leased or it's purchased. If you find yourself in this situation, before you actually turn the car in, I submit to you, you should try to negotiate a settlement with that car dealer or the finance company. Obviously, if you have it, you need to ask the pros and cons. One of the most brilliant multimillionaires I ever knew. I said, what was your secret? And I'll tell you what he said. He said, Kevin, everything is negotiable. So again, finance people, they said, well, you owe me $10,000. Well, you said, well, would you negotiate with me and allow me to pay you $6,000 at X amount of dollars a month? They can accept it. They can reject it. What can you always say? Well, if y'all force me into bankruptcy, you get nothing. You understand? So again, it brings people to the table, and they make exceptions all the time. So take a proactive approach, have several options to discuss with them for you to consider. Good plan.
Absolutely. Good plan. We are glad that you called in, Perline. We appreciate that. All right, back to our lines right now. We are going to Edna. Edna, we thank you for calling Open Line. Do you have a question for Kevin? Can you hear us, Edna?
Oh, yes, I'm sorry.
No worries.
Mr. Kennedy, I would like to know if I had a really bad injury from a fall and the insurance said, don't worry about it, that they would pay me for it. Okay, if the year has passed and I'm still under medical, I'm still under the doctor, can they do anything? Ma'am. Was it not wise for me to get an attorney because I didn't get one?
Okay, let me share with you. You always get an attorney. I say that on the air. I said it today. I have all my staff around so much of the time when I have my assistant, and they're not lawyers, but I'll say, what do you say? And they say the same thing, get an attorney. Or have insurance companies actually led people down the road? Don't worry, we're going to pay your bills. That's a pretty bold statement. We're going to settle this. And then guess what? You go past your year because you rely on their representation, and then you say, well, y'all didn't pay, and then a new adjuster appears and says, ma'am, you did not file your lawsuit within the 1 year. Your claim is forever barred. Now, that is horrible. So how do we prevent that? Hire a lawyer, let them negotiate with, and if they don't get the negotiations complete and get you a check before the one, they've got to file the lawsuit, and that keeps it alive.
All right, great. And Kevin, that also kind of brings up a related topic. Is the other thing is the law is complicated. So that's one more reason that you need to talk to the attorney.
Absolutely. Let me talk just a minute, too, about that injury. So guess what? You're involved in a car wreck. They've got $25,000 worth of insurance. They are responsible. They owe it. The doctor's bills are $125. How are we going to get anything? It doesn't even cover. That's when you need a skilled lawyer. When do you need him? You need him on the front line as soon as possible. So if you're listening and you've been involved in an accident, a family member, I did a motorcycle toy run last Saturday. I don't ride very often, but I still like them. And what the guy right in front of me, he said, that lady's son was just involved in a horrific motorcycle accident. And you need to go and get the lawyer immediately. There's so many things that they can help you from the start. And good advice leads you along. And so many people say, well, I didn't realize this and I didn't go back to the doctor. Don't have a lapse in the care. The insurance company will get your records. Say it, Chuck. They will get your records. They will comb your records. Everything you told that doctor will be in the notes. And if you missed a few appointments, they're going to say, hey, guess what? He's contributed to his injuries because he didn't follow the doctor's orders. So they're going to use everything against you. So get a lawyer, document it, try to help take the proactive approach. We're going to work them. They are working us. Never give one of those tape recorded statements when they call you and Chuck was just in. So, well, hey, Chuck, were you hurt in an accident? Well, I don't think I'm hurt too bad. Well, guess what? They're recording that. And then when there's part of the other problems come back and you have a disc that's going to require back surgery and you get a disability, they want to play that tape back to you. Hold it one more. I got to tell everybody while I'm thinking about tapes. Let's say a loved one's in the jail and you call your loved one and say, hey, Chuck, how you doing? Oh, Kevin, I got to get out of here. This. Well, guess what the district attorney's office will do? They'll subpoena all those tapes. They've got everything that you said to your girlfriend, your mother, your child, and they'll use that to impeach you. So if it can be used against you, it will be. Assume nothing. Protect yourself. Get your lawyer.
Absolutely. Every time. So thank you so much for that, Kevin. All right, we're going back to our lines right now. So Jackie is on the line with us. Jackie, good evening. Do you have a question for Kevin?
Yes, I do.
All right, go ahead.
Okay.
Okay, I would like to know if the statute of limitations run out on a contractor. It's been 6 years, but during the time he found out my husband had pancreatic cancer, and he stopped working. We could not get in touch with him at all. I did get in touch with an attorney, but with my husband being sick and the bills coming in, I could not afford to pay the attorney any longer. And he was saying he couldn't find where the contractor was even, if he even still had his license or not. And I was just wondering, I mean, he's probably doing somebody else now. I was just wondering, now that I've gotten through the worst part of my life and then lost my dad on top of that, if there's anything that I can still do, or is it just a dead case,
Well, here's the way the law says that we have a 1 year statute of limitations on personal injuries in Tennessee, and then 3 years on property damage and 6 years on contracts. So if it's gone past the 6 years, that statute has run. And why do we have the statutes? Because there needs to be a finality according to public policy. You're given a right to bring the action, and so that's what happens. I am so sorry to hear about your loss. And remember, there's lots of people out here that want to take advantage of people in that situation. And I understand, I have this quite often when we have people come in and see me and they say, Kevin, we just were not emotionally able to deal with it at that time. I understand it perfectly. That's why people who have friends or church members, go help someone when you see them overwhelmed. And we need to get involved, go see a lawyer, maybe see the district attorney, because they'll take advantage and never complete the work. So I'm so sorry about your loss, and thank you for your question.
That's right. Thank you so much, Jackie. So we are sending caring thoughts. We are going to take a short break, but when we come back, we have time for a few more calls. So make sure if you do have one of those legal questions that you call us as soon as you can get on the line, 737-7587. We're back with Open Line right after this.